All right, hey everybody. This is going to be a no fluff, no frills video, no intro with the music and all that good stuff, because I just got a couple of things to talk about. Nothing really important, nothing serious. Just pointing out that I did go through the players list today, and I updated the contracts on some of the players, and I'll show you once again what the process is. It's very simple. I sort by salary, get those $1 million contracts, right? These are guys that are not really playing a lot right now in the NBA, and they don't even have salaries, most of them, because if they did, I would have already updated it. But every once in a while, I have to go in and make sure these guys haven't signed some sort of contract. And also, it would be really cumbersome if I went through every one of them and gave them all a $580,000 contract, because that's the league minimum, right? That's kind of like a two-way contract type situation. So what I do is I look at their ownership, how much they are rostered throughout the league. Now, I do have to update Kenneth Thompson here, it looks like, but what I'm looking for is basically 6% or better. So over 5% ownership. If the guy is rostered over 5%, then I'm looking to give him some sort of a contract. And it looks like I do have a couple more guys to go. Somehow they escaped me. Maybe they got rostered in the last 10 minutes or something. I have no idea. But that's going to be my standard. I'm just going to go through and check out their ownership. And the first thing I will do once I find out that the guy's got more than 6% ownership is I will run a check for their salary. And let's just use an example here. Trey Alexander. First of all, I'm going to copy his name and then do that. I'm going to go over here to Spot Track. I'm going to type that name in there, drop it in there. And let's see what this guy gives us. Trey Alexander, there he is with Denver. Let's see if he's got a contract, if he's making some sort of money. And it looks like no. So this is a guy that I'm going to give a $580,000 contract to. So what I do then is I go over here to Commissioner Controls, Salary Contract Administration. Trey Alexander. And for some reason, I'm not... Oh, wait, that's right, because I got to look through the player pool. Now I should be able to find this guy. There he is. So I'm just going to replace that 1 million with 0.58. And now he's going to be easy for you guys to pick up if you want him. These kind of players can be important if they're two-way contract players for a team that you might have a star on, and that star gets injured. These guys will come in and play some minutes for you. So you might want to keep an eye on them. I'm generally looking first for guys who are scoring points, but then I'm also looking for roster ownership, because if he's being owned by teams in the database, obviously he's a player of interest, and I want to make sure that he's available to you guys in the league. So anyways, everybody's got their own way of setting up their league page. This is the way I have mine set up. So basically right now I'm helping William Slavey and Denny Copeland to manage their teams. Basically, they're telling me things they want to do because they're busy. And so basically I added myself as an owner to those teams so I could, execute transactions for them. But I don't own these teams. I'm not making the calls. I'm conferring with these guys, and then they'll tell me what they want to do. I'll maybe tell them, hey, you got some injuries here or there. You might want to look into this or that. And then, that way I can keep everybody going. I know some of you guys have more time. Maybe you're more dedicated, and some of you guys have less time. And maybe your basketball is not really your big thing, but you're doing me a favor by taking a team in the league. So I want to make it easy on everybody, and I don't want anybody to be left behind because they're just not into it or they don't have the time. So if you need me to help you run your team, I can add myself as an owner, and then I will confer with you, and we can talk about what you want to do, and I will put those transactions in for you. And I'll try my best not to try to steal your free agents if you happen to uncover a nugget or two. And I doubt that's going to happen. But seriously, if I was not already interested in the player, I'm not going to be like, hey, who's this guy that you just talked about? Whoa, okay, I have priority in the waiver order this week. I'm going to steal him. No, I'm not going to do that. At any rate, we're 2 weeks in now, and we're working on week 3. Something you guys can do, I want to show you real quickly. What I do every day is I go to players, and I go up here, and I change this setting to period, and it automatically takes me to the current period. That's right here, period 3, right? And what I'll do is I will upload the stats for that team, my team. So, of course, I got to change it to my team. So I go here to the Saints. As you can see, I'm on with the Boston Celtics in Houston right now because I'm helping those guys. Just make sure that if they don't have time or they don't want to fiddle with the site, I can do it for them. But I go to the Saints, and then I go over here, of course, and I upload the stats, and then I put it into a spreadsheet. Now, you won't be able to see the spreadsheet I just pulled up because I didn't save it to the internet. But at any rate, that helps me kind of keep track of my team, and then I'll punch in like the formula for the 48-minute stats, which is fantasy points per game divided by fantasy minutes times fantasy minutes per game times 48, and I can get his 48-minute stats, see who's really performing well. Plus, I can look at how I rated my team this week, my depth chart. So I go down here and I'll check out my own depth chart, and the Saints are down here, and basically then I can just go in and deal out the minutes that would go into the box score at week's end. And I don't care if they play just one game because, I do this all week long, so they might end up playing two. But, I just want to get a feel for how my team is doing, and you can do the same thing. And maybe down the line, I might share these results with you guys. I might run some teams and talk about whether a team is doing well or not, especially the contenders. But at any rate, I really hope you guys aren't having any problems with the box scores. If you are, you should tell me this so that I can figure out a solution for you. Because if I have to, I will print the box scores myself in a text, on the message board. But, you should be able to access these box scores. Let's go to my team, the Saints, This should show up on the internet because this is a saved document. It's in the cloud. And there you have it. Just raise it just a little bit there. Make it a little bigger. Oh, boy. It's so sensitive. But okay, see, these box scores should be coming out just like this for you, and they should also work on your phone. If they're not working on your phone right away, don't get freaked out just because you see a bunch of hashtags. They will eventually populate. These box scores all work fine. They work on my phone, they work on my brother's phone, and they work definitely on a computer. And I think that because it's in the cloud, it doesn't matter if you own Excel. You don't have to own it because it's a shareable document on the internet, so it won't matter if you have Excel downloaded on your computer. Even I think it's automatically there, but they won't let you access it to do your own spreadsheets unless you pay for Microsoft 365, whatever it is. Or if you already own spreadsheets, then you should be able to do your own spreadsheets, and you definitely should be able to access these. But I don't think it matters. I think you should be able to access these. By the way, if you notice my voice, yes, I do have a cold. Everybody's sick right now. NBA players are coming up with illnesses. There's a nasty little bug going around. But at any rate, in the future, I want to do a little bit more talking about, try to do more of a daily show. I am in a transitional period in my life right now, and I'm looking to move out of Southern California and move into like a new place. So I've got a lot going on, and I've got to deal with business, side business, family business type stuff. And so it's financial, a lot of it. So I am kind of not in the best place I can be. It's like I'm not relaxed. Everything is always like something to do. I don't, I do waste a lot of time still, but that's just kind of de-stressing. Honestly, it's like, man, I just can't wait until all my stuff is done and I can just settle into a nice desk in a quiet room and, do some videos and talk some hoop, talk some fantasy football. That's my dream. As I'm getting older, I just want to come on here, and I'm not looking to be a big presence on YouTube. I just want to, do these videos for you guys in the league, and hopefully you enjoy them. I will do my best to make them listenable and watchable. But at any rate, we'll go over like things like this, the injuries. What I do with my team is I set up, the injury report on my main page, as you can see. That way, every morning when I get up, I just go onto the website and I can get a little feel for how my team's doing. Now, because I'm jointly owned right now, or joined with Boston and Houston, I'm getting news on their players as well. And this is really important, this one, the injury news, because this is where you'll find out first thing. Did somebody get hurt last night? What do I got to do in free agency? And when you got to do something in free agency, just go straight over to players. It's going to take you straight to available players right here, see? And you can sort them on these buttons. If you got an injured small forward, you need to look at small forward free agents. There you go. Just click that button. Now you got all the top small forwards. Maybe the guy you're paying a lot of money to isn't really cutting it, and you might be able to free up $49 million to sign LeBron. You know, that's the beauty of this smaller league, is the fact that we have a lot of talent out there on the free agent market. It might be expensive, but you can swing deals with the free agent market and kind of bail your team out, get your team back into competition worthiness, whatever. But just something to think about. But I mean, there's also cheaper players. If you do sort on salary, it's going to take you straight to that $1 million salaries first. So that's kind of a pain. I would suggest just looking at each page individually. You got the top 20 free agents at small forward on this page. Just check the salaries here, scan them as you go down. Royce O'Neal right now looks like a good deal. Only $9.37 million, and he's producing for Phoenix right now, and he's playing about 25 minutes a game. He's definitely somebody to look at. Very reasonable price. Caleb Martin, I had him on my team a couple times last year. I'm not sure who this guy is here. Julian Champagne. We've got Kyle Anderson, relative bargain, but you also want to look at their minutes per game and divide it out by their minutes. Not their minutes per game, but their points per game, fantasy points divided by their minutes. And you want this number to be at least half of that number, because that would mean 24 per 48. And you really do want to shoot for at least that when it comes to your players. You can deal with a guy in the low 20s sometimes, but seriously, you want your guys to be in the 24 range roughly. Guards will be tougher to get that with, but if it's a small forward, power forward, center, you want that 24 and above. And don't be taking these guys in the teens and thinking just because they're getting minutes, they're going to help your team out, because it's mediocre minutes. And this league is very much about not just guys who score, but guys who score efficiently. That means getting fouled, getting to the line, shooting a higher field goal percentage, but also the other numbers they get, getting their offensive rebounds, defensive rebounds. They have a slightly different value. Assists, steals, blocks, turnovers. These numbers come into play. And if a guy plays a ton of minutes and isn't all that productive, he ain't going to be that good in this league. So I'm not going to go on. This is not a very organized video. I just wanted to go over a couple things, tell you what I'm doing with the young players, those fringe players that are like two-way contract type guys. I'm just going to keep trying to update their salaries. If they do become valuable, I want you to have an option to sign them, because they can be a cheap alternative that can bail you out if you have a major injury. You don't have to go out and waive players that you don't want to waive. As long as you have like $3 million or less, you could even have just $1 million and still sign one of these guys with only a $580,000 contract. These are those two-way guys who can be available or can be valuable at times. There are situations. Right now, Atlanta has some of that going on. I'm not going to get into it. Just look into it for yourself. But check out these two-way guys, these guys with the cheap contracts. I will, again, keep trying to update these contracts weekly basis. At some point during the middle of the week, I'll go in there, check the situation. If a guy's starting to become owned by more than 5% of teams in the database, I'm going to seek out his salary and convert that million to the actual salary, the big giant million one. The only reason I left them that way is because I don't know what these guys were going to make. And a lot of them are never going to make anything, and they're not going to do anything. So it's not worth my time to go in and make a salary for every one of those guys. It's only worth it if they're actually doing something. There's a lot of players in the database, and it's a lot of damn work. Okay, guys, I'm done ranting. Thanks for listening, and thanks for playing. Talk to you later.